right, today we are cooking on the sheet pan because it's super easy and delicious. These recipes are perfect for summer. I'm gonna walk you through them. You're also gonna be able to find all of them on my blog. And I'm actually sharing 4 other bonus recipes on the blog, so you're gonna get 7 total, and I'm gonna show you 3 of them right now.
So we're going to get started off with cashew chicken, and this has been a family favorite for years now, and it's super simple. You just want to start by making a sauce. So I am cooking up some rice on the side, and this would be good over rice noodles as well, or even some cauliflower rice. Lately I've found that I actually like to do like half cauliflower rice, half regular rice to get some more veggies in, and you can't even tell the difference. So for the sauce, I'm over medium heat. I've got 6 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of honey, 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, or you could just use regular sesame oil as well, 3/4 a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce, and then about a half a teaspoon of fresh grated ginger. I always just keep a root of ginger in my freezer, and it makes it super easy to just grate into anything. And it's really inexpensive, so it adds a lot of flavor. But if you don't have that, you can also just use about a half a teaspoon of dried powdered ginger, and then 2 cloves of grated garlic as well. Or again, you could use about a teaspoon of garlic powder. Give it a good stir, and then add in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and whisk that in as well. And you're just gonna bring this to a simmer and let it cook just until it thickens and bubbles. And that cornstarch really makes this sauce fantastic. And you can kind of remove it from the heat and see where it's at. Like if you feel like it's too thick, you can add water to thin it out, and it will make it kind of pour better over the chicken and the broccoli. That cornstarch really makes this sauce nice and thick and kind of feel like the restaurant. So now I'm just going to dice up my chicken, and I'm using chicken breasts, but you could also use boneless, skinless chicken thighs, or even bone-in chicken thighs. You just need to take the skin off and take them off the bone, but any sort of chicken is going to do for this. And as far as the sizing of the pieces goes, you just want to be mindful of like how big a piece you want to eat of chicken, and that's how big you can cut them. And because we're cooking all the chicken at the same time, you also want to be mindful that try your best to make sure that the cubes are similar in size so that they cook in the same amount of time. So I have 2 smaller size sheet pans, and I lined them with some parchment paper, but you could also spray your sheet pan down with some cooking spray or grease it. And then I'm just going to add a generous serving of salt and pepper over the chicken. And then you want to drizzle about half of the sauce over the chicken. You can see that this is a little bit thicker. I ended up thinning it out later, but you want to get that sauce on that chicken so that it gets lots of flavor. And then we're going to bake this at 400 degrees for about 8 minutes. And then while that chicken's cooking, I'm going to take this opportunity and time to slice a couple of peppers. I have yellow and orange today, but you could use red. I haven't tried it with green, but I do find that green peppers taste a little bit different than red and yellow and orange for some reason. But if you love green peppers, I think it would taste great. And so you just want to cut those also into bite-sized pieces. And this is kind of my method for cutting peppers. If you start from the top down, it seems like it's much easier, and then you don't get like a bunch of seeds in there. So I really like it. And then once the 8 minutes is up, you just want to add about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of broccoli. Now you could use fresh broccoli. I'm just using frozen. You can see it's coming right out of the bag. And that is a great budget tip to be able to make your vegetables last longer and still get a lot of veggies in without spending a ton of money. The frozen vegetables are flash frozen, so they retain all the nutrients and they're at the peak of freshness. I also added about 2/3 a cup of cashews. Mine were salted and roasted, but you could also use like unsalted if you don't want to add the extra salt. And then all of the peppers that I sliced up, and I'm just evenly dividing this among the 2 pans. If you wanted to use 1 large pan, that's totally fine too. And then about a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And at this point, I added a little bit of water to my sauce because it really had thickened up. And then I added about half of what was left of the sauce over all the vegetables. And then you want to put this back in the oven, still at 400 degrees for about 12 minutes until that chicken is fully cooked through. And then you can take that back out of the oven. We're going to put the remaining sauce all over the top, just drizzle it with it. And then you can garnish it with whatever you like. I used some toasted sesame seeds and some sliced green scallions just to make it pretty and give it a little bit of crunch and pop. And it is fantastic. Sometimes I just feel like when meals look pretty, they taste better. And this is a gorgeous one. And it's full of veggies, super healthy for you, and super enjoyable. So you may or may not know that I love to cook from my freezer and pantry to save money at the grocery store by shopping what I already have. And I get such peace of mind by having my freezer stocked with high quality meats each month from Good Chop. When I get Good Chop, I don't need to worry about waiting for a sale to get meats from all American farmers and fish from all American fisheries. Good Chop has fully customizable boxes so that I can order whatever I'm craving that month, and they have over 70 high quality cuts so it never gets boring. And although you can call me boring because I always get their delicious bacon and their steak each month. My husband and I love a good quality steak, and I often switch between the ribeye and the New York strip since they're both delicious. And I also find that purchasing my steak through Good Chop not only ensures high quality, but saves me money and time because I'm not going to the butcher, which is easily $100 trip, honestly, as much as I try not to. With all the goodies that they have in there, I'd rather not spend that money. And I love saving that time that I would have spent there too. So if you're thinking about different ways to save money, go ahead and order Good Chop to make things easy on yourself. Go to goodchop.com/YouTube and use code Maria120 or click the link in the caption below to get $120 off across your first 4 boxes. And I'm going to show you a recipe for sheet pan pesto chicken parm with these delicious chicken breasts. Now, I love the chicken breasts from Good Chop, and it was completely my fault that I forgot to take these out. So when I defrosted them in the microwave, I went a little bit long, so they should not have that white on them. However, they still tasted absolutely delicious. So if you ever overcook your chicken a little bit, if you're defrosting it, not a big deal. It's still going to taste great, or at least the Good Chop chicken does. And so you want to put some salt and pepper on those chicken breasts. I was just making this for myself and my husband. My kids were eating something different this evening. And then you just take store-bought pesto or homemade pesto. I know this time of year a lot of people are making homemade. I don't have a basil plant that I'm kind of like a black thumb. So it's not my time in life to be making a garden right now, but maybe when my kids are older. So you just want to cover that in pesto and some tomato sauce. You'll see I've got a bowl right here. I had some sauce I used for something else, so I saved it, and then I was able to use it for this. So I was able to kind of like double use the sauce and save money. And so just put that sauce right over the chicken, and this is a really nice healthy meal because you're not using the breaded chicken or deep frying it in oil or anything like that. And then you just want to top this with a generous helping of Parmesan cheese. Probably used about a third a cup of parm, and then bake this at 375 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. And then you can serve this as is, or you can serve it with pasta. So I used some rigatoni, and it was really nice. And then once mine was about 25 minutes are up, then you can either cover it with some mozzarella cheese. So I just put a generous helping on top of each, or you could use provolone cheese. That's really good too. So a lot of times I just use what I have on hand. And then I just put this on broil to kind of cook up that cheese and served it with the pasta. This chicken is always my absolute favorite because it is just so juicy and never dry and just cooked up perfectly. Now, the pesto on this chicken parm, I mean, it's just really the little added something, right? It adds so much flavor and it really makes it such a summery dish. So if you would like to get some delicious Good Chop chicken, which I truly recommend, go to goodchop.com/YouTube and use code Maria120 or click the link in the caption below to get $120 off across your first 4 boxes. All right, next up, I'm going to show you some sheet pan mini meatloafs. These have gone viral on TikTok and Instagram over and over again. They are a fan favorite and worth showing one more time. So I have a pound of ground beef and then just 1 package of the chicken stovetop stuffing. You can use the Walmart brand. You can use the Aldi brand. I've used them all. They're all good. And you could use turkey or herb, or it doesn't even matter. And then you want a half a cup of ketchup, 2 eggs, and a half a cup of water. And that is it for your meatloafs. And my family adores this flavor in this, and it's so incredibly simple. So you just want to mix that together pretty well, and that's going to be your meatloaf mix. And it's as simple as shaping this into like little baby meatloafs, like very large meatballs, I guess. You don't want to like tighten them up too much because otherwise they'll get like dry and hard. So you want to make sure that they're kind of loose, kind of like you'd make like a hamburger. And I prefer this to the larger meatloaf because it takes less time in the oven. So like a large meatloaf's going to take like an hour, and these only take 25 minutes, which is amazing. And you could also use barbecue sauce for this. So if you prefer to use barbecue instead of ketchup, you can totally do that. It gives it a different flavor, but it's also amazing depending on what you have. And then I just top each of these with a little line of ketchup and rub that over with a brush. And they're just like these shining little delights. And then I'm just going to pop these in the oven at 425 degrees for 10 minutes. Now, my original recipe for these that's on my website has you dice some potatoes and cook those from the beginning with the meatloaves, which you can totally do. I just didn't have fresh potatoes on this day, so I decided to make up some instant potatoes, but you do you, and potatoes are an amazing, inexpensive side that do have some pretty good nutrient benefits in them, so it's worth a shot. So I'm just using frozen broccoli again. It's like my budget favorite. Always have it on hand. Make sure we get lots of nutrients. And putting about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. And I feel like this is like the perfect combination on broccoli. It always tastes so good like this. And this is awesome because you're just using it fully frozen. And when those meatloaves come out of the oven after 10 minutes, we're just going to place this frozen broccoli all around those and then cook it for another 25 minutes. And these are just the instant mashed potatoes that I made. This time I just added a little bit of extra milk to them to make them even better, but you can also cook them in chicken broth or add chicken bouillon to them to give them a lot of flavor. I've even added like Parmesan cheese or some Parmesan. There are tons of ways to make boring old instant potatoes even better for your family. And this is the meatloaves coming out of the oven. It tasted so amazing with that broccoli. It's so incredible how the frozen broccoli just cooks up so perfectly in the oven. And it may even make things better because it kind of like steams it, right? But this is an absolute amazing meal and you're going to love it. Go ahead and check out this next video for 3 amazing budget-friendly chicken recipes for summer.